other news tonight, the House Ad Hoc Committee on the Bangsamoro Basic Law concluded its hearings today on the proposed legislation. Let's have the details of this report from Freddie Abando.
The House Ad Bangsamoro, chaired by Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, concluded its hearings for the draft Bangsamoro Basic Law. The Rodriguez Committee conducted 47 hearings, the last of which was the submission of the report by the Peace Council based on the results of consultations and recommendations of several sectors in the implementation of the peace agreement signed by the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. The committee is expected to finalize and approve the draft law by May 11. The approved law will be submitted for plans by May 18. Rodriguez Bird amendments may be proposed for 8 provisions in the draft law. In today's hearings, Rodriguez sought the opinion of the Peace Council on 8 provisions involving the creation of separate offices of several constitutional bodies. This include a Bangsa Electoral Office, a Bangsa Civil Service Commission, Bangsamoro Audit Office, Human Rights and Concerns, the Office of the Ombudsman on disciplinary powers of the Bangsamoro government for its personnel. Former Justice Hilario Davides stressed it's for Congress to propose refinements to said provisions to make the draft Bangsamoro Basic Law compliant with the Constitution.
As to the constitutional commissions, he is of the opinion that this can still be constitutional. Well, as of now, I'm still in the belief that there can be no interference with the commission. The commission can make their present regional offices, enlarge the operations there, and their is perfectly within the province of the constitutional commissions, but not Congress, who cannot determine and expand or even create offices and place them under the commission. So we're still going to therefore say that we still believe that we should delete the 5 provisions that will interfere with the constitutional mandates of the 5, like the disciplinary authority of the Ombudsman. You cannot cure that by any other means, by making it subject, because give them primary disciplinary authority. The same is also with the Bangsamoro. The creation of it is called in capital letters in the bill, Bangsamoro Commission on Audit. So that is really how it is. So it should be the COA that should strengthen their present regional office of the COA in the region.
The creation of a separate Bangsamoro command for the AFP was also raised as a major concern by Rodriguez and the committee members.
These provisions are within the power of Congress to define the jurisdiction nature of and within the functions provided in Republic Act number 3456 as amended by RA number 4177, otherwise known as the Internal Auditing Act. This means that the Bangsamoro government is not precluded from creating a special body like an auditing office as long as it will be considered as an internal body, which will not in any way prevent or obstruct the functions and powers of the COA. The Bangsamoro Electoral Office is distinct. There is a categorical provision saying that it shall be part of the Commission on Elections. Article 7, Section 9. In fact, even its budget is part of the Appropriations Act of the National COMELEC. Thus, the electoral office is not among the concurrent powers, as the evident intent is for the Bangsamoro government not to have its own election office, leaving these functions solely with the national government. Where the last sentence of Article 5, Section 2(8) of the BBL reads, open quote, the Bangsamoro shall have primary disciplinary authority over its own officials and employees, close quote, it is proposed that the phrase, open quote, without prejudice to the powers of the Civil Service Commission and the Ombudsman, close quote, be inserted to address the Ombudsman's concern that the said section diminishes the Ombudsman's mandate over public officials and employees.
Another contentious issue raised was the creation of a Bangsamoro police and the control and supervision by the Chief Minister. Expected to approve the draft Bangsamoro Basic Law by June before Congress adjourns its second regular session for the 16th Congress. The Peace Council appealed to Congress to do what's best to pass the draft law, which will end decades of conflict, usher an era of peace and development for future generations of our Muslim brothers for the proposed Bangsamoro entity.
It fulfills the vision and spirit of the 1987 Constitution. And beyond the exercise of your legislative power, it is the performance of your sacred duty. As a people, guided by you, we must go beyond semantics and focus on our people, their needs, their aspirations, their choices, their voices, to empower them to lift themselves out of their poverty. With meaningful self-determination and within the framework of our Constitution and our Republic, they can help create their future. We appeal to you, our dearest representatives in Congress, to let the doubts and fears of the Philippine community be the strength to break down walls of prejudice and discrimination and endless social injustices. We appeal that you show courageous statesmanship, servant leadership, the generosity of spirit. This Congress, you have the monumental role to finally resolve the decades-old Bangsamoro aspiration for self-governance and healing of historical injustices.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.